Hello, everyone. My name is Nario Cantu, and thank you for tuning in for the Friendly Pharmacist podcast, starting now. Welcome back to another episode of the Friendly Pharmacist podcast, where we aim to provide you with the most up-to-date and helpful information about health and wellness. I'm your host, Nario Cantu, and today we're going to dive into a topic that's been making headlines recently: Respiratory Syncytial Virus Infection, or RSV for short. Specifically, we'll be discussing the RSV vaccines and what parents need to know. But before we get into that, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. We'll track the trend of RSV cases before the COVID-19 pandemic and the recent uptick in instances within the population. RSV, or Respiratory Syncytial Virus, is not a new player in the world of respiratory infections. It's been around for quite some time, but it's often overshadowed by other respiratory illnesses like the flu or COVID-19. Before the pandemic, RSV was considered a common and seasonal virus, usually affecting infants and young children. It would lead to symptoms such as coughing, sneezing, fever, and in severe cases could result in hospitalization. However, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, RSV cases took a somewhat unexpected turn due to the extensive public health measures such as mask wearing and social distancing put in place to combat COVID-19. The spread of RSV was significantly reduced. This led to a decline in cases during the traditional RSV season. But now, as restrictions are easing and life is returning to some semblance of normalcy, we're seeing a resurgence of RSV cases, and it's hitting the youngest among us the hardest: infants. These tiny, vulnerable beings are at the highest risk for severe RSV infections, which can be life-threatening. So what's being done to protect them? Well, the answer lies in the development of RSV vaccines. These vaccines are currently available, but in short supply, and they have the potential to be a game changer in the fight against RSV. Let's talk a bit about the development process of these RSV vaccines. Just like any other vaccine, they go through rigorous testing to ensure safety and effectiveness. But what makes RSV vaccines particularly important is the potential to provide immunity to both mother and child. During pregnancy, when a mother is vaccinated against RSV, she can pass on protective antibodies to her baby. This can help shield the newborn from RSV infections during the critical early months of life when they're most vulnerable. Now, I know some parents might have concerns about vaccine safety, especially when it comes to pregnant patients and infants. It's essential to trust in the rigorous testing and safety protocols that vaccines go through. The benefits of RSV vaccination far outweigh the risks, as it can significantly reduce the chances of severe illness in infants and young children. But let's not forget the importance of vaccination in general. Vaccines are one of the most powerful tools we have to protect ourselves and our communities from preventable diseases. And when it comes to our youngest, who are at the highest risk for RSV, it's crucial to ensure they're protected. Now, what if your child is diagnosed with RSV or other respiratory illnesses? What can you do at home to help them recover? First and foremost, consult with your healthcare provider for guidance on managing your child's symptoms. They may recommend simple measures like keeping your child hydrated using a humidifier and administering over-the-counter medications to alleviate fever and discomfort. It's also essential to keep your child isolated from others to prevent the spread of the virus, especially if there are other young children or infants in the household. Good hand hygiene and proper mask usage can go a long way in protecting those around your sick child. What are the symptoms of RSV? RSV symptoms can include a runny nose, sneezing, congestion, coughing, fever, wheezing, and decreased appetite. RSV is a virus that should not be underestimated, especially when it comes to our little ones. Pending approvals for RSV vaccines are on the horizon, and they hold great promise in reducing the impact of this virus on infants and young children. Now let's focus on adults and folks over 65 and RSV. The RSV vaccine for people over 65 refers to a vaccine designed to protect older adults. It is a common and potentially serious respiratory infection. RSV can cause symptoms ranging from mild cold-like symptoms to severe lower respiratory tract infections, particularly in older adults, young children, and individuals with weakened immune systems. The RSV vaccine for people over 65 is specifically developed to bolster the immune system's defenses against this virus in older age groups who are at higher risk of severe RSV infections. The vaccine typically contains small pieces of the RSV virus or proteins that trigger an immune response without causing the disease itself. By receiving the vaccine, individuals can develop antibodies and immune memory that help them fight off RSV infection if they are exposed to the virus. This vaccine is particularly important for older adults, as RSV infections in this population can lead to pneumonia and other serious respiratory complications that may require hospitalization. Vaccination can significantly reduce the risk of severe RSV-related illnesses, improving the overall health and well-being of older individuals. It's worth noting that the availability and specific recommendations for RSV vaccines may vary by region and can change over time as new vaccines are developed and tested. Therefore, it's important for individuals over 65 to consult with their healthcare providers to stay informed about the latest vaccine recommendations and options available to them. That's all for today's episode of the Friendly Pharmacist Podcast. I hope you found this information about RSV and the pending RSV vaccines helpful. As always, consult with your healthcare provider for personalized guidance on vaccination and managing respiratory illnesses. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, your friendly pharmacist is here to help you navigate the world of healthcare. Stay safe and take care of yourselves and your little ones. Until next time,